Hello, I'm Rick Steiner. Welcome to Luxe Life Discovered. My guest today is Tyler Jette with Steiner Event Rentals. So, Tyler, great to have you with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I tell you what, you and I met. I don't even remember how we met or what event it was, but it's been a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And always impressed with you from the very beginning. So, I guess the first question is, you're young. How in the world did you get into such a massive event rental company at such an early age?
Yeah, I actually started out doing photography and videography.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
So,
yep. And I was doing a lot of that, and I just saw the setup throughout the day, and I was pretty interested in it, and one day I just decided to make the switch and bought a little bit here, a little bit there, and it's just kind of snowballed, and it's been crazy.
So you started the company yourself. You didn't buy an existing company.
Mm-mm.
It's just
Yep.
okay. Well, that takes a lot of guts, maybe a little bit of craziness. It's not,
Yeah, just a little bit.
I think anybody that's in the event industry, wedding industry, you have to be a little off somewhere. And I'm joking, but I'm serious too, because there are days after some events. I think when I grew up, I wanted to be a greeter at Walmart. Everybody's going to say, "You didn't get my basket today. You didn't smile when I came in." And I tell my wife that, and without missing a beat, she goes, "There's one problem with that." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "You're never going to grow up." And I thought, "Dang, I can't even have my dream job." So
Yeah.
what was the first thing you started with the rental company?
The first thing I started with was just a couple white folding chairs.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
When I first started, I had them in my garage, and that was all I had. And just every year, it's just kept growing and growing and growing. Just doing a good job and being diligent about everything. And now I think we're in 4,000 square foot warehouse, and it is just filled to the brim.
And you have all the different type chairs. You have lounge furniture.
Yep.
You have tents too, which we'll cover in a minute, and then dance floors. What else am I missing? You do linens?
Linens, yep. We used to do decor, but we're mainly focused on, like you said, the tents, the stages, the dance floors, all the big stuff that nobody else wants to mess with.
Right. And of course, the key to that and making it all successful is having a good team, because you're also a workhorse too. So you don't. That's one thing I've been impressed with you too. You don't just sit back and tell people what to do. You get in and you're as
Right.
active as they are. And so that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to set an example, lead by example, So if we're doing something hard, I'm right there next to my guys, sweating.
That's true. Well, and they can't say that you're telling them to do a lot of things that you wouldn't do. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so for your big jobs, do most people, do you go through planners? Is that how you get a lot of your work?
Yeah.
Is referred by the planners and
Yeah.
venues themselves?
Yeah, we mainly work with the planners, and there's a lot of venues that recommend us as well. Like you said, especially those bigger jobs, they can kind of help with, diagrams and what the bride actually needs. Because a lot of them, they know they need something, but they don't really know what they need.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of options.
So when somebody comes to you, whether they're referred to you or just come to you individually, and they have this plan, because I run into this all the time, and if you know what they're asking for is totally like way out there, how do you bring that back to reality? I want to learn, because I want to like, there's no reality.
Well, that's definitely something that I've had to learn along the way. When I first started, I would just say, "Okay, let's figure it out." But
so
now,
you're like me, then you like, we could make this reality.
Yeah,
okay, that's scary.
the hardest part is saying no sometimes.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah, because I also look at things sometimes as a challenge. It's like, well, if we can pull this off, man, this is going to be nice.
It would be awesome. Yeah. So that's definitely something that I wouldn't say maybe I struggle with, but I do kind of like the crazy ideas sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and if it's done correctly and it works, man, it's the best thing ever.
Right.
Because then you've kind of set a standard for other people to go after. So with the furniture and everything I can see, when did you get into the tent part?
I would say probably about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Um,
That's a big big undertaking.
Yeah, we started out with a 40 by 60, which, if you don't know, that's a big tent,
So start big.
Yeah, so we
Why not
started
go
with one of the
10 by 10?
we started with one of the biggest ones, and
Yeah.
when that thing pulled up and they delivered that, I said, "Oh my God!" So what did I get myself into?
So what all type tents do you have?
We've got the clear top, white top. One of the most popular is the sailcloth tent that
Okay.
we have.
Yeah.
That's super popular, especially in our area next to the beach and
Right,
everything like that.
right.
Everybody loves that sailcloth tent. So.
That is huge around here for sure. The clear top is nice though as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to have the right weather, the right timing, because
Yeah.
it could.
That's one thing. Some people will ask me for a clear top in August, July or August. I'm like, okay, no, we're not doing that.
Be like a popcorn.
Yeah.
Caramel popcorn. Yeah. But they're beautiful though at night when the stars are right and all the lighting is perfect. But it could be a challenge sometime, I'm
Definitely.
sure. Do you so what's the typical setup for a large tent when you have that?
Like as far as time frame?
Yeah, because it's not like you don't just go out and put it up 30 minutes or 2 hours.
Yeah. No, it takes us about 2.5 hours.
Okay. Quicker than I thought.
I think we could be a little bit quicker, but there's a lot of moving parts, man.
Well, yeah. Oh, you have to set a record on time anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, that is a lot of work. What do you see that you would like to add that you don't have? And how do you also? We'll go with that, and then I'll ask you the next question. Yeah.
What would we like to add?
Yeah. Is there anything that you run across that you think, man, that'd be sharp to have?
I'm personally a lot more interested in lighting, so I would like to see us do more than just a standard bistro lighting. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to get a little more into up lights, pin lights, things like that, because that can really set an event.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Give it the next level and add a little dimension to everything.
The pin lighting especially to highlight different things, like whether it's a cake, whether it's a specific point that they want highlighted, that does add a lot to it. And lighting can change the whole mood of everything.
Especially, a lot of the brides, they spend so much money on florals and decor and tabletop and cake and everything. Why not highlight that? Once the sun goes down, it's kind of hard to see. So, putting a spotlight on those specific elements, I think, like I said, takes it to the next level.
It does. It elevates everything. And how do you also keep, not giving into the fads and overdoing your inventory with trendy things that won't last? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's hard. A lot of people are asking me, when are you going to buy a black tent? When are you going? I'm like,
I wonder who that is.
I know. So that's another thing is you kind of got to set those expectations of, I'd love to have a black tent, but, realistically, how many times is somebody going to ask for that before it goes away? And then somebody wants a green tent, a yellow tent,
Exactly. Because it's a huge investment. Mm-hmm. And that's that's something else that's always been interesting to me is like, how do you, it does go back to the fad question too. You could spend a fortune. I mean, easily, you do spend a fortune easily on your inventory, but how do you determine enough, or I guess enough is never enough in your business, but at the same time, how do you limit what you buy? Because the dream to have it all.
Have it everything. Yeah.
I'm one of those all or nothing people. So it drives me crazy.
I usually try to wait. There might be something that I want to buy. I think is cool, but that doesn't mean everybody thinks it's cool. So I'll wait until 3 or 4 or 5 different people ask me for something specific.
Right.
And I say, okay, well, now everybody's asking for this specific chair or whatever. I've gotten enough people that have asked me for it. I think it may be, worthwhile to invest. Right. So I try to wait till people ask me rather than me just going and that's cool.
You buy 300 chairs and nobody wants to rent them, and you're like, maybe that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
So that would be my thought. Yeah. So what do you think's been the biggest challenge being your own boss and having your own business in the rental business?
Man, I'll say it's been probably the most difficult thing I've ever done with my short time on this earth. Just the hardest thing is, especially in the season, just, when I'm getting home at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and having to go back out at 5 o'clock in the morning in a couple hours, making sure that even though I really don't want to do it, the bride's relying on me, the planner's relying on me, catering, my team, everybody's relying, on the rentals, the chairs, the tables, everything.
Yeah, you kind of have a big role to play in that.
Yeah,
So the success of that. Yeah.
I just got to keep reminding myself of that responsibility, because it doesn't just fall on me; it can fall on everybody else, and snowballs. So,
well, that and that's good that you're that concerned with that, because not everybody is that on top of
diligent,
things.
right?
Right, and it shows. And so I know that your Instagram. I mean, you've done some massive projects, worked with some of the best planners in the area, and you've done some great work. And so what areas do you cover? It's not just Destin. You go you cover from like Pensacola to Panama City?
Yeah, Pensacola to Panama City. I'd say probably 80% of our work is in the Santa Rosa Beach 30A area. Mm-hmm. But we'll travel. We'll go anywhere. As long as it makes sense for us. I don't mind going wherever the job takes us.
Right, yeah.
In my personal life, that's one of my favorite things to do is travel. So if I can combine travel with my passion of, doing this, then it's a perfect world.
Yeah, so. That's me. And I like going to, sometimes it may not be the most ideal location, but the job is good and the whole concept is intriguing. So it's like, I'll take that as a challenge. And when I know that my wife is not interested, then I know then I probably may have bitten off more than I could chew.
Right.
She's like, I think I'll go to the beach while you go to wherever, She's like, so then I know, okay, she doesn't believe this. So she'd rather be in the beach than middle of Mississippi in August,
Yeah.
So, but so how has your age? How old are you?
I'm 24. I'll be 25 I'll be 25 at the end of this month.
But, oh my gosh, you're a youngster. I don't mean that in a good way. I thought you were like 20s or 30s, and only because the business you have, not that you look at or anything like that. It's just I'm impressed.
Well, everywhere I go, man, I'm the youngest person in the room. So
hey, everywhere I go lately, I'm the oldest person. It's like I don't like that scenario. But it's like I was working at the gym. My son going, I thought I'm going to be everybody's grandfather. And that was kind of depressing. It's like, but at least I'm here. What the heck? But so 24, it just blows my mind. I seriously thought your late 20s, early 30s, and only because of where your business is. So what did people your age say when you started this? Because that's unusual.
It's definitely unusual. It's been kind of hard for me because most everybody my age, they don't have the same responsibilities and things going on. So it can be hard for me to kind of relate to some of those people my age. I feel like I always get along with people older than I am. But, I didn't really pay much attention to what other people were thinking when I started. I had a vision and I just stuck with it year after year. And every day I didn't want to go in, I still went in, and, it's paid off so far. So.
Well, that's good. Well, no, it's very impressive, even more now that I know that. So, so has that affected any, getting any working with different people?
I think it did in the beginning. When I first started out, I didn't have as much confidence because that was kind of always in the back of my mind. You don't have as much life experience. I don't have as much experience talking to people. But owning the company and being out there talking to the planners and doing the site visits and meeting the people at the venues, over time, that's definitely grown my confidence. And now I can say to people, hey, this may not make sense or whatever. So I, in the beginning it was a little bit hard, but I've gotten used to it. So.
Well, that's good. Well, you've delivered great results, and that speaks volumes. So once you do that, then people, they forget everything else. They're like, I want somebody I know I can depend on, somebody who's going to do a great job. And of course, you take care of everything from setup to tear down or break down whenever they want it down. And so What's
do all
been
of
the
it.
most challenging event you've done? Because I know like some places, especially in this area, you have to be out by midnight.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm used to like most places I deal with in Arkansas and the South or the Midwest, that part, that's still the South. But anyway, I got like till the next day to get it.
Yeah.
Or certain venues are like working with me a lot. They're like, just come back later. And then here it's like, everything has to be out by midnight. I'm like midnight tonight? Like tonight?
Like today?
At midnight?
Yeah, that can
So,
definitely be really challenging, especially with some of the bigger weddings we've done, 200-300 people. We try our best, but when you've got the same rule for a 30-person wedding and a 300-person
Sure.
wedding, it doesn't matter. You still got to be out an hour. Sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
we try our best, but
And it puts the
it's
planners
hard.
in a spot too, because you've got to have things in at a certain time so that you can get in. Other vendors can get in and break down and be out by that deadline. And of course, once everybody starts having fun and enjoying it, then the longer they want to stay. And you're kind of like, planners have to be the bad person sometimes. Like,
Right.
seriously.
They got to kind of enforce it. Yeah.
Scoot over while they take the things off your table. So, have you ever had that situation where they want to stay a lot longer?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much everyone. They always want to stay. But a lot of times you'll see us off on the sidelines when it's 9:50, 9:55,
Right.
and we're waiting. And as soon as it hits 10 o'clock and the music shuts off, we're starting to grab chairs, and of course we do it in a courteous way. But
Yeah.
once you start grabbing chairs and stuff, people, usually get the hint.
And most people know that. I mean, most people have been to enough events and weddings that there's a certain time you have to start.
Right.
But I've done
But
some
it's hard though.
Yeah, some weddings that time really mattered not to them, and they're like, well, we'll pay extra. And it's like the venue doesn't care because they've got to book for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they've got to have a crew come in, clean up, and then the next group of vendors come in. I guess the ideal situation is somebody rented like a huge tent and large setup from you, and then another planner had the same venue booked the next night. Now that'd be a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, we don't have to like break down as much tonight because we have to set it back up tomorrow. So, have you been in that spot?
We have had a couple, yeah, where they'll use the same tent we have or the same chairs, and sometimes we have our events that we book just without a planner, and sometimes it just works out that way. And it's it's definitely a blessing when the stars align.
Well, and then have you ever had planners or venue owners like, can you just leave that up for another day or two and let somebody else use it? Have you ever?
Yeah, that's how people will ask. I'm like, well, we got to tear this thing down and put it back up the next day. So,
oh yeah, I've run into situations like that, and it's like, don't put me in the spot, or don't put another vendor in that spot.
Right.
They didn't pay for it, they didn't request it, but sure, it'd be nice. It's like, I like to have a Rolls Royce for a day too, but nobody's ever bringing one over.
Right.
But it's fun though. It's really an interesting whole profession, and from your standpoint in the wedding industry, I that's one thing I don't think I could do, because so much goes into it, and of course, like we were talking about the physical part of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot to it.
Even though I'm 24, man, sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I can hardly move.
I'm thinking about the dance floor at the bridal show at Hilton Sandestin last year. I was happy you guys carried.
When you were carrying those panels.
Oh my gosh, I was like, okay, it's time to let the young guys take care of it. So,
each of them weigh 50 pounds, and we've got 35 of them.
Well, I'm struggling. You guys were throwing it up in the air and walking out with it. I thought, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But no. So, how many people do you have that work for you?
I've got about 8 to 10 guys.
Okay.
I've got a couple full-time people, and then just depending of what we got going on, I'll call a certain amount of guys in. So, but roughly 8 to 10 people.
Okay. Good deal. And so, if people want to find out what if you've got a website that has all your different products on there and your rentals and everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's just DestinEventRentals.com, and that's got pretty much most of the things we have.
Right.
And if it's not on there and you want it, just ask me.
All right. And do you have dishes too?
Yeah.
You do have some dishes too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've got all the glassware as well.
Okay. So
and that can be challenging as well.
Well, yeah.
Getting the guys to set up this sailcloth tent, and I'm like, okay, now let's put all the glasses on the tables.
Right, yeah.
All I hear is
Be
moans and
careful, yeah,
groans.
it's like,
But
go from the heavy stuff to like the delicate. Yeah.
right,
Well, and so then the other part with the linens and also with all the glassware and everything, the cleaning once you get through, that's
right.
a whole different.
The event does not stop at the end of the night,
Yeah.
because afterwards, we've got to bring everything back. We've got to clean it. We've got to put it away, and those big weddings, that takes a couple days to clean all those dishes.
Oh yeah, and you do clean them all when they come back yourself.
Well,
I mean, you don't do it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the reason I asked, there was a brewing company in Missouri, and I won't say who, but you have to return the dishes clean,
Oh, really?
and then they just send them out to the next person the way they're returned. And that's the only place that I've known that does that. And
Yeah, it seems very risky.
I do. I know. I was just like, interesting. I don't know if we'll be using it or not.
Yeah,
It's
right.
Like, I don't like to wash the dishes before I put them out. And yeah, but that's just one of their, and everybody accepts it there. And I'm just like, okay, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
No, we
that's
get them all
interesting.
back, and we clean them all at the start of the week and bag them back up and put them away, and
Yeah.
they're ready to go for the next one. So.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, the events that I've been involved with you on, and then I'm working with you at the Alice and different things. So the bridal show, I've always been impressed. You've always done a great job, and so it's fun to see someone young have such success at an early age. And the whole reason behind it is your work ethic and being able to deliver and get good results, and that's huge.
Thank
So,
you. Because at the end of the day, we all have the same stuff. All the rental companies, we've all got the same chairs, we've all got the same tables, but it really comes down to who cares the most,
Right.
Who takes the most pride in what they're putting out. And this is, Destin Event Rentals. That's me. That's what I am. That's what I do. So we definitely care a lot about what we're putting out.
okay, and how do you deal with people that come to you in that same scenario where, like, well, so-and-so has the chairs that are this price? And because I always have that as a planner, it's like, well, so-and-so said, well, what's your response? I'll tell you mine. That I've learned to come up with. So,
yeah, I might have to hear yours, but
well, mine is like, well, I know what I bring to the table.
right.
And I know that nobody's going to put in the time there, because I'm a worker too with my events. I don't just sit back and have people that go in and do all the work. I'm part of that team, and I'm the first one in with the venue and the last one out with the venue representative. I want to make sure all my vendors are cleaned up and everything's done that I, contracted with them to do. But so how do you?
It just comes back to what I said earlier is who cares the most. Somebody may have it cheaper, but if they're so cheap, can you rely on them to show up on time, and can you
Right.
rely on their product to be clean when you get it? Are they having their customers clean the dishes for you and
Right.
sending them back to you? We do all that stuff, so we may be a little more expensive than other people, but there will always be somebody cheaper.
Always something cheaper, always something more expensive. Yeah.
There's a lot of overhead when you're doing things the right way. You've got insurance
Oh yeah.
on all the trucks, the trailers, liability insurance, warehouse. It's not cheap. A lot of people think that these things just show up,
Right.
but
Everything shows up. It looks good.
Right.
Forget, like, how did that get to that point? Yeah.
there's a lot of behind the scenes, and there's a lot of logistics and work. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's just may not be cheap.
Well, and sometimes some people don't realize that, or a lot of part of the pricing, until they get into a situation where it's a disaster, and then they're like, "That's the difference."
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what it takes for people to learn. But yeah. So how does 2026 looking for you?
2026 is looking pretty strong for us at the moment.
Good.
We've got to focus on tents, and we've got a lot of them. We've got a lot of large events, and we're working with a lot of great planners in the area. So so far it's looking good.
Okay, and Tim, I just thought about this too. What do you do on a day when, or like a time of event? Rain, of course, the tent's going to take care of it, but getting it set up. What about all the wind and stuff? How Does that has to be like something that keeps you up sometime?
Definitely. Yeah.
So,
All of our tents, they're engineered so they can withstand a pretty significant amount of wind, but it comes, you've got to set it up the right way. And sometimes you got to get it up quick because it may be windy or it may be raining when you've got to set that thing up. So you've got to get in and get out. But
what kind of advice would you give someone wanting a tent when you know it's going to rain or conditions aren't going to be ideal? Is there any kind of advice you give to the planner to relay to the client or to the client themselves?
when like it's already up,
or
when they're
when
like a rain reservation.
yeah.
Always for us, the more advanced notice we get, the better, because we can work it in.
Right.
Especially when people see ahead of time it's going to be raining that weekend, then we're getting bombarded by calls for tents. So
people that didn't want to spend the money because they're not going to need it, and all of a sudden,
right, all of a sudden then they need it. So
and it's your fault that it's not out.
People always ask me, how can you make the rain stop?
Well, we can't.
Yeah. But yeah, just the more notice, the better, so that we can work it in and we can make
But
it
you
happen.
do some last minute
yeah.
deals if you have to.
Yeah.
Or not deals, but projects.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, good deal. Well, Tyler, that's a quick time we had today.
That was.
But now I've always been impressed with you, like I said, and so I'm glad to see that you're having the success you're having. I look forward to watching you grow even more and do even bigger things for sure.
Yes, sir.
So we've got your information on the screen. So just remind people how to reach out to you. And so we've got the website, we have your email address, and then your Instagram page. Yep. And so
that should be pretty much it. Like I said, most of our stuff is on the website. We try to post as many events as we do on our Instagram. So a lot of people like to pull from inspiration on the Instagram.
Right.
But we're always here, and whatever you need, we can try to help you out.
All right, that sounds good. Well, thanks for being with me today. I appreciate it. And so thank you for joining us again for another episode of Luxe Life Discovered.